Unless you like lying to yourself, it's pretty obvious there's only one outcome for Damian Lillard's future. Some reporter asked Dame about staying with the Blazers, and he said, "I'm not leaving Portland for now." That means he won't request a trade before the season, but by the end of next season, he will be playing for another team in the playoffs. This video explains why Dame will definitely leave Portland and the only team he will realistically go to. Yo, it's Casey, this is AM Hoops. I actually have a bet with an AM Hoops Plus member named Bro Tickle Me, which is a great screen name, that Dame will be traded before the start of next season, and it looks like that's not gonna happen. And if he won the bet, he got to request a video topic. He's already requested a Cody Zeller related topic, which I think is ridiculous, but we'll see. Now, I really have to hand it to Dame for his loyalty. He's on a team that won't contend, then they have a bad offseason, and he still isn't demanding a trade. The Blazers are so lucky. I mean, he's giving them a chance to prove one more time, you're a legit contender. But it reminds me of actually one of Dame's quotes. "Man, this just isn't gonna work. We're not gonna win the championship, but we've got a successful organization, and we have positive seasons, but we just don't end up with a championship." Exactly. The Warriors are better, the Nuggets and Jazz are legit, the Lakers are a super team, and that's just the West. After a few months, the Blazers will obviously be the same as always, and Dame will crack. The only way that doesn't happen is with elite defense. Any team that's led by Dame and CJ McCollum will put up points, but their problem for years has been stopping the other team. The front office tried to fix that by bringing in Robert Covington and Derrick Jones Jr. last year, but it failed. This season, they have added Tony Snell, Cody Zeller, Ben McLemore, and Larry Nance. I know Norman Powell helps, but they are a first-round exit again. Once Dame realizes that, the only team he's gonna go to is the Philadelphia 76ers. They're the only team with the assets to get this trade done. Ben Simmons is an all-NBA type player at his peak. He's just 25 years old and under contract for 4 more seasons. He is the best available trade chip out there. The Sixers could also offer Ben plus Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, and picks. That's a great package for the Blazers. And honestly, they should be happy. I mean, they have clearly peaked with Dame and CJ. And not many teams go from a superstar to an excellent young core. And on the Sixers, look, this is Daryl Morey we're talking about. All he cares about is star players. He showed that again and again in Houston. He would trade whatever it took to get James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul. It's in his DNA to take a big swing like this. The other reason this trade makes sense is the timing for Philly. Now, I know it will be painful to have Ben Simmons back on the team, but trading him now would be worse. His value has never been lower. They would kick themselves for selling this low once he bounces back. The best plan for them is to bring Ben back and rehab his game before the trade deadline. Then at that point, assuming Ben Simmons plays well, the Blazers would be happy to trade Dame for Simmons and a package of good young players. However, Ben Simmons says he will not report to training camp. That could ruin the plan. The Sixers have to do whatever it takes to get Ben back on this team. And I think Joel Embiid is already trying to convince Ben to come back by telling the media, "We have no beef, we're friends." When you think about the fit in Philly, it also makes more sense than any other team. Okay, they missed out on Kyle Lowry. They need an all-star caliber point guard to pair with Joel Embiid. No one's a better fit than Dame Lillard. The only thing that could derail this is if Philly got an amazing offer for Ben Simmons before Dame requests a trade. But I don't see that happening, okay? Philly is the only team that makes sense. So people are waiting on the Warriors to make a big splash, but Woj already said they're hoping for Bradley Beal. There's been zero noise about adding Damian Lillard to the Dubs. I think it would be a good fit personally, taking a big offensive load off of Steph, but the Dubs are not interested. They have the assets to get the trade done, but they want Beal. Outside of Golden State, I mean, do we think like the Timberwolves will make noise for Dame? No, they don't have a good young player near as good as Ben Simmons, and they're not gonna trade Karl Anthony Towns. And I know a lot of you hate on Simmons, but before last year's playoffs, he was one of the most valuable young players in the league. Yes, I could see maybe the Pelicans sneaking in there if they offered Brandon Ingram, but they aren't shopping BI like the Sixers are shopping Ben. The one team I think that has a realistic shot of stealing Dame from Philly is the Knicks. This offseason, they chose not to overpay average stars to have flexibility later. They have 7 players making between $8 and $20 million a year, exactly what teams need to make deals happen. On top of that, they've got a ton of draft picks, and if Portland thinks that RJ Barrett is a future star, maybe they prefer the Knicks package over the Sixers. The reason Philly is the only realistic spot, though, at this point is that Simmons is in active trade rumors. It only makes sense that a swap for Dame and Simmons happens after Ben plays well these first few months. I actually think the first big moment of the season is going to be when Ben Simmons suits up for Philly again, because Joel Embiid threw him under the bus after he passed up the dunk in Game 7. Doc Rivers basically did the same thing because both guys figured, nah, no big deal, he's getting traded anyway. We'll never see this dude again. Then no one wanted him. Awkward. Dude is gonna have to come back to the Sixers and play with Joel Embiid and for Doc Rivers without talking to any of them in the offseason. We'll see what he actually looks like on the court, if he actually shoots threes, but I am not betting on it. All he has to show to up his trade value is playmaking, scoring at the rim, and defense leading to wins. Then he will be a good trade chip again. Simmons still has a chance to be one of the best two-way players in the league, and the Blazers give him that chance. Dude never fit in well with Joel Embiid, but Portland doesn't have an MVP-type center to share the court with. The best place for Simmons is a team that's going to build around just him. And I think he needs a situation like Giannis got in Milwaukee. They put shooters around Giannis that didn't clog up the paint with a center who could shoot. Brook Lopez can stretch the floor if need be. Now, I'm not saying that Ben doesn't need to improve himself, because he does. And Chauncey Billups will need the job security to be harsh on Simmons if he needs to. But there's a lot worse landing spots than the Blazers for his development. And of course, some people will say, oh, he doesn't want to play for Portland. Yeah, you know what? That doesn't matter. His trade demand list means nothing. Okay, he has 4 years left on his contract. The Blazers might be nervous because his agent is Rich Paul, who usually gets his clients where they want to go. Ben's attitude sucks. But we've never seen a guy with 4 seasons left choose his destination. Anthony Davis chose LA with 1 season left. James Harden chose Brooklyn because he had 2 seasons left. Even if Simmons went kicking and screaming, he can't pout for 4 full years. I'm sure he would get in a room with Chauncey Billups and figure it out. But honestly, the biggest wild card for Damian Lillard might be the New York Knicks, because after this offseason, I gave them an A+ offseason, which not many people did, because in all the moves that they made, they revealed their secret plan for the future.